अरहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन को स्वरूप जानी रागते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाय स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब आज भयो कर जोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। Acharya Uma Swami's Tattvat Sutra, and today we are going to discuss different causes for the influx of 8 karmas. This is your CC2, okay? Your CC2 is to write a summary on the influx, causes of the influx of different 8 karmas, okay? So for that I have shared 8 pages from that English book, because English book overseas students are not having, okay? So there is no PDF available right now. So for that I have shared these 8 pages and plus the one we have in the textbook, okay? So right now we will be studying the textbook one, and this additional 8 pages is for reference, okay? So these are given at the end of that Tattvat Sutra book in the form of appendix 1, okay? So that you can refer from there. Your homework for CC2 would be from here, okay? Yeah, starting from here to end, starting from the aphorism number 10 to 27 is the 8 karma causes of the influx of 8 karmas, okay? What kind of sentiments you manifest which results in bondage of this type of karma, okay? One thing is very clear, that apart from lifespan determining karma, Ayu karma, all the 7 karmas are bound every moment, okay? Only Ayu karma is such that it is bonded on specific time, okay? That is like when you have crossed your 2/3 of life, that is the first instance that where you bind that karma. If that doesn't happen at that time, then whatever is remaining age, 2/3 of again it will pass. So again you get an opportunity. Again like that. So similar case, you will get 8 opportunities. And if you are not binding karmas on those moments, then compulsorily will bind in the last 48 minutes of your lifespan. That's why when somebody is on the deathbed, we always try to utter, chant Namokar mantra in his ears, so that if the bondage has not happened earlier, then at least he will have auspicious bondage and he will end up in heaven or in some good place, okay? So apart from lifespan determining karma, all the 7 karmas are incessantly being bound every moment. So why the different causes have been mentioned? So that is from the perspective of intensity, okay? Bondages are of 4 types: Prakriti Bandh, type of bondage; Pradesh Bandh, quantity; Sthiti Bandh, duration; and Anubhag Bandh, intensity of bondage, okay? Out of these 4, Prakriti and Pradesh, first 2 are dependent on the mind, speech and body activity, and the last 2 are dependent on the passions. The last 2 are more powerful, the first 2 are very weak, nothing much happening, okay? So out of the last 2, this is the last one, intensity. So that makes all the difference. When the karms come into fruition, the intensity and duration makes lot of difference, okay? So these 8 causes, the causes of bondage of 8 karmas are being described from the perspective of intensity. Because of intensity, of course, the the bondage happens in a different manner. Okay. So the 8 causes are given. Okay. This we have question we will discuss at the end also again, but let's start. Asrav of first two karma, Darshna and Jnana both are included together. Why it is included together? If these 6 aspects relate to darshan, that is perception, then the bondage of perception induced karma takes place. And if they pertain to Gyan, then the bondage of knowledge obscuring karma occurs. Okay. So these two are described together. But if you refer the other that I have shared just now from English book of Tattva Sutra, they are mentioned differently. Okay. So you have to write what is there in the textbook, which is as per aphorisms of Tattva Sutra, and then there are additional things written on that in that English book, which also you are supposed to include. Okay. So this will be a very good summary. Now, one question I would like to ask, that here the different causes are mentioned in terms of the manifestations that a soul undergoes. So is this a topic of Charnaniyog or Karnaniyog? Soumya is there? Yeah, Soumya, this is for you.
Sir, this topic of bondage of karma you are talking about?
And we will be discussing the causes. Okay, the
Hmm.
causes which leads to the bondage of 8 karmas. So
So I think
those
this,
causes is a topic of Charnaniyog or Karnaniyog?
so this is, I think, belongs to Karnana Yoga,
No, it is belonging to both. If you
both.
consider the causes, it will be Charnaniyog. If you consider the karma, it will be Karnaniyog. Okay. So these causes
Hmm.
are being mentioned so that if we understand the causes, we refrain from it. That is the idea, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is the causes would be from the perspective of Charnaniyog, and the resultant bondage that's going to happen, that will be a part of Karnaniyog. So Charnaniyog and Karnaniyog both together, and if you are able to practice discriminative knowledge, then we will say it is Dravyaniyog. Okay. And if you practice all these and you will be appreciated, then it will be Pratman Yoga. Okay. And if you don't practice it, you will be criticized, then in spite of having knowledge of all this, you could not practice. So that will again be Pratman Yoga. So all 4 expositions go hand in hand. Okay. It's on you, how do you relate it? Okay. Jay, are you understanding what we discussed just now, or you joined just
Yes,
now?
sir. No, I was there.
Okay. You are good with the discussion what we had?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, so we'll straightway move. Today will be a very hectic class in the sense that we want to cover all the 8 karmas. So, but it's all very simple. You can yourself also read and understand. But as a syllabus, we are going to complete in the class only. Okay. So, Jia, you start reading the causes of influx of perception obscuring and knowledge obscuring karma.
So far, we have discussed the causes of the general ashrav of karma. Now we will discuss the causes of the ashrav of specific type of karma. Therefore, we first discuss the causes of the ashrav of jnana varna, influx of knowledge obscuring karma, and the rachna varna, influx of perception obscuring karma, in the upcoming sutra as follows. 1. Pradosh, jealousy, harboring jealousy towards those who impart teachings of Tattva Gyan and Darshan, which
You
are
have missed 2 lines.
Oh, okay. The factors that cause Jnana Varna and Darshana Varna karma are Pradosh, Ninav,
Need now.
Matsarya, Antaray, Sadhana, and Upghat in relation to the Jnana and Darshan. First is Pradosh, jealousy, harboring jealousy towards those who impart teachings of Tattva Gyan and Darshan, which are instrumental in liberation, is called pradosh, jealousy. Two, Ninavar, denying or rejecting Gyan and Darshan, which lead to liberation, is called Ninava, denial. Matsarya, envy in knowledge, not sharing acquired darshan and tattva gyan due to jealousy is called Matsarya, envy in knowledge. Antaray, obstruction, creating obstacles in someone's practice of darshan and gyan bhyas is called Antaray, obstruction. Asadhana or asadhana, disrespect or prevention, not respecting darshan and gyan or preventing the teacher from imparting them is called asadhana or asadhana, disrespect or prevention. Upghat, destruction or distortion, completely falsifying darshan and gyan is called upghat, destruction or distortion. Due to these six causes, the bondage of darshana varna and jnana varna occurs. If these six aspects relate to darshan, then the bondage of darshana varna karma takes place, and if they pertain to gyan, then the bondage of jnana varna karma takes place.
So you see, these six aspects or the six factors, if it is related to bondage of Darshanavarna karma, then it's then it is the Darshanavarna karma's bondage, and if it is related to knowledge, then it is Jnanavarna karma's function. Okay. So what are these causes? First is jealousy, harboring jealousy towards those who impart teachings. Okay. So this is again first cause. Okay. So if you behave in such a manner, you will have bondage of karma, which will lead to fruition of Darshanavarna and Jnanavarna. Okay. Second factor, ninhau, denying.
I have a question. This is done by other religion or probably?
No. This is for us
First,
only. Us only.
no. Jealousy, why? Why
Jealousy
jealousy?
wise, no. Basically, we are talking about Jainism only. We are not talking about other faiths and other teachers. Only harboring jealousy towards those who impart teachings of Tattva Gyan and Darshan, which are instrumental in liberation. Okay. So it's all about Jainism only, not other faiths. Okay. Ninhau. Ninhau means denying or rejecting Gyan Darshan, which leads to liberation. So we are talking of those Darshan and Gyan. Darshan means here general perception and Gyan means knowledge, which leads to liberation, not worldly knowledge and worldly perception. Okay. This is about perception and knowledge which leads to liberation. Then Matsarya, not sharing acquired darshan and tattva gyan due to jealousy is called Matsarya. Okay. So this is not sharing is among students, and this is jealousy towards teachers. Okay. So slight difference between the two, Matsarya and Pradosh. Both are jealousy, but this is jealousy among students. Okay. And that was about this teacher. Then we have Antray, creating obstacles in someone's practice of darshan and jnana bhyas is called Antaray, obstructions. Okay. Somebody wants a book, you said, no, I don't have it, although you have it, but you are not giving it by because you want to come first in the class, right? So similar kinds of things goes on, but these are all causes of, Kunkunda Acharya's story. Kunkunda Acharya Dev in his earlier birth, prior immediate to becoming a Kunkunda Acharya, he was a cowherd, okay, cowboy who looks after the cow. So one day he was going through the forest. He saw that all the trees at one place are burnt. Only one tree is not burnt. So he went near to that. Why this tree has not burnt and all others are burnt? So he saw there was a book kept over there. So he thought this is a very divine book. So he took it to his home. And when he came in touch with a monk, he gave that book to that monk. And because of this action, he got birth as Kunkunda Acharya in the next birth with so much of knowledge. And he is instrumental in reviving the Jainism. Jainism was on the verge of extinction. But Kundkund Acharya revived it, and so he is called Kalikal Sarvagna. Okay, so that's the title that has been given by other acharyas that were existing in that period. Okay, so Gyandan. So if you create obstacles in someone's practice of darshan and gyan, you will bind such karmas that you will not get this knowledge in next birth. Okay, and if you are helpful in creating helping other students in their knowledge of tattva gyan, then of course you will be binding such karmas where you will be only gaining knowledge, you will be getting all the good associations which are conducive to such kind of knowledge. So you have to see it in both ways. If you are doing it, what is happening? If you are not doing it, what's happening? Okay. The next is
Sir,
yeah.
Acharya Kundkund Dev Ji gave Jinwani to a Muni,
In
to a
previous
learned
birth.
person, to a learned person.
In a previous birth.
तो हम भी जो मुनि महाराज को जिनवानी भेंट करते हैं, तो हम भी
हाँ,
बहुत बड़ा काम कर रहे हैं फिर तो.
और क्या?
तो फिर अगले जन, I mean, this is a lot of punya that we get by
Yes,
simply
yes.
gifting him, not reading. हम तो packed जिनवानी उनको बस gift करते हैं, देते हैं.
हाँ, इसलिए ज्ञान दान सबसे बड़ा दान है. See, there are 4 kinds of donations, you know. First is 4 kinds
औषध
of
दान,
gift.
आहार दान,
हाँ, ahar dan.
औषध
So
दान.
ahar dan will create an impact for a day only. Today you are hungry, you have got the food, so you are satisfied for today. Tomorrow again you will be hungry, right? So it serves the purpose of one day only. Similarly, Aushadhi Dan for that particular disease only. Abhay Dan for that birth only. Okay. But Gyan Dan is instrumental in giving you, in stopping your transmigration. So once you are enlightened, you will get liberated. Okay. So that is the biggest kind of gift that you can give to somebody. Okay. So always be very alert in providing knowledge, whatever way you can, through your mind, through your speech, through your body, through whatever resources you have, right? So the best money that can be utilized is in Gyan Dan. Organize Shibir, congregation for people to join and they learn so many things. So all this punya will be, you will be only binding punya karma. Okay. And those kind
As a
of
teacher आप भी कर रहे हैं ना ज्ञान दान.
हाँ तो कर रहे तो उसमें क्या है कि like see objective is for my own studies I am doing it. If I am teaching you, then I am involved in it, right? If I am teaching happiness course, I spend so much time after slides thinking what is to be included, what is not to be included. So it's my own spiritual upliftment that I'm doing. Simultaneously, whatever you can pick up from there, then only I can be an instrumental cause. But if I think I can teach you, then it's a wrong understanding. I cannot teach anybody. People have gone to Samosaran and come back empty. Why? Because the upadan was not there. Now your upadan is ready, so you are getting good associations. Okay. Now if you work on that, then your punya will increase. And if you lose this opportunity, then your punya will decrease. Okay. Because an opportunity lost is a very big loss. First of all, people don't get these kind of opportunities. And those who get it, and if they don't follow it up or they don't take it very seriously, then it is their loss. So punya and pap are always associated with any activity that we do. Either it is an auspicious activity or an inauspicious activity. But these kind of activities which is going to lead you to liberation, those are, we can say, the supreme level of actions. So it's always good to be in whatever way capacity you can glorify the religion of Jainism. Okay. So antaray, then asadhan. Asadhan is disrespect, not respecting darshan and gyan, or preventing their teacher from imparting them, is called asadhan. Okay. Disrespect. So I don't have a Zoom account. I ask for you, do you have a Zoom account? I want to conduct class. You have a Zoom account, but you say, no, I don't have it. Okay. So then you will be binding Darshana Varana and Jnana Varana karma. Okay. So this way, if these 6 aspects relate to darshan, then the bondage of Darshana Varana karma takes place. And if they pertain to Gyan, then the bondage of Jnana Varana takes place. Okay. Next is, yeah.
So I also wanted to ask one question.
Hmm.
So when you say not respecting darshan and gyan or preventing the teacher from imparting them,
Hmm.
so for instance, every time we try to tell someone something that we study, like when we're sitting to eat or something, so then the first question that comes is કોને કીધું આ બધું? So we'll say આ બધું ભગવાનનું છે, કીધેલું. It's from the દિવ્ય ધ્વનિ. તમે સાંભળ્યું છે આ દિવ્ય ધ્વનિ? How can you know? Like science માં experiments છે, maths માં there is logical everything. That who has told? This is all. So there's a constant this thing where we are told that all of this is every religion whitewashes you. That we are the best. What we are saying is the
Right.
perfect.
Right.
So is that also this only?
See,
Sadhana?
not asadhana, because he's doing out of ignorance, right? He's not having. But the thing is that ki at certain stages, you feel like sharing this to everyone. Okay. But if you go at a higher level, if you can capture the independent nature of each substance, attributes, and modification, then you will realize that there is no way I can help anybody in his quest for knowledge. When he has to get, he will get all the associations. And when he has not to get, even Tirthankar, Adinath could not teach Marichi, his grandson. Right? So that's a very big example for us. But at the same time, at certain stages, we do have to share this kind of knowledge. We feel, we are convinced. So we feel that we should share. But it is his bad luck. On the other hand, we can say it is his high level of passions which is not allowing them to accept this. Okay. If the passions are of intense level, you will not be able to get into this. Many people join groups and then they left it. They are not able to continue. Why?
Yeah.
Same cause. You need to have that level of auspicious karma in you to get into this kind of association. So they don't have that association. So they join, they lose it. And we have been doing this ourselves many a times in the past.
Yeah.
And that's why we are here. We were also there in the time of Adinath Bhagwan. We were also there in the time of Mahavir Bhagwan. So why we are still transmigrating and they have got liberated? Because we never accepted this. Okay. So there are many factors related to it. It could be any of the factors. Okay. The best thing is you go more deep, all these problems will automatically get solved. But having said that, at certain levels, you have this kind of feeling to give the best to whomever you have attachment to, right? You don't go on the road and tell somebody these things. You go to your friends, relatives, near ones, dear ones, whom you think that this is something I need to share. Okay. So it's normal case. It's a very normal phenomena, and not accepting is also a normal phenomena. Todarmalji in his first chapter, he said, कि I'll just first say in Hindi and then English, कोई what it is, कोई कोढ़ी को अमृत पिलाए और वह न पिए तो उनकी भवितव्य का विचार करके ही हमें समता आती है. His destiny is not there. So what we can do, right? So similarly, see, our motto is to be happy in every space. Okay. So nothing is going to stop us from enjoying ourselves. Now, if you have this inclination towards somebody, you may share. Okay. But whether he is able to pick it up or not, it depends on his individual destiny, upadan, lot of factors. 5 causes are there. 5 factors, concomitant factors, 5 sum y. So lot of things coming together in the same place. So, but as I said, you will always have this feeling to share it with somebody whom you love. Okay, so nothing wrong in that. And only thing is that you share it. If he is accepting, is good. If it is not accepting, then no regrets and no aversion. No regrets, no aversion. Madhyasthata, vitrakta. Madhyastha means vitrakta, passionlessness, detachment. So Adinath was a Tirthankar, and Bharat Chakravarti, Marichi's father, was also going to get liberated in the same birth. Still, they could not convince Marichi to follow this. And not only follow this, but Marichi went against them and established 363 different faiths against his Dada, against Jainism. And those 363 faiths have been discussed in Gomatsar, I think Jeev Kand. Gomatsar Jeev Kand or Karma Kand? I think Jeev Kand. It is Jeev Kand. So those 363 verses are there for those 363 faiths. So nothing wrong. Okay. Now, cause of Vedniya karma. Okay. Himali, you read.
After discussing causes of Vedniya karma asana, influx of feeling producing karma. After discussing the causes of Jnanavarnya and Darshanavarnya karma asana, we now examine the causes of Vedniya karma asana through two sutras. Dukkha Sukha. So should I read this? Or should I just go to the English?
You're on mute, sir.
You can continue with the English one. To cause dukkha.
To cause dukh, pain, soka, grief, tap, remorse, akhrandana, wailing, vada, killing, and the paridevana, which is lamentation, whether directed at oneself, others, or both, leads to the ashram of asata vednya karma. On the other hand, showing compassion towards living beings, giving charity to monks, practicing self restraint with attachment, observing partial self discipline, cultivating forgiveness, and maintaining soka, which is purity or non greed, results in the ashram of Sata Vednya Karma.
Is Saucha. Saucha.
Saucha.
Uttam Sauch Dharma we have, no?
Saucha, okay.
Yeah.
Results in the ashram of Sata Vednya Karma. First, emotional states that bring suffering are termed dukkha. Mental distress arising from separation from the desired is called soka. Intense regret or repentance is tap. Crying loudly due to suffering is akrandana. Taking the life of any being is vad. Crying so bitterly that it melts the heart of the listener is called lamentation, paridevna. Thus, those who suffer themselves, cause suffering to others, or inflict distress upon both themselves and others, generate an influx of unpleasant feeling producing karma, asata vednya karma. In general,
Stop. So these are the causes of asata vidnya karma. Now next what we are going to start now is sata vidnya. So first let's discuss asata, then we will discuss sata. So the first is emotional state that bring suffering are termed as dukkha. So whenever you are in miserable state or in suffering state, that is the time you bind asata vidnya karma. Okay. Supposing your near and dear ones have passed away, right? So what you need to do? Cry and cry. If you cry, even if you don't cry, but if you have this feeling of dukkha, then you will be binding asata vidnya karma. Okay. So we bind so much of karmas after the person has passed away. Now, the person who has passed away, the soul doesn't die. right? With this understanding, you know that soul changes its body, and we have come with a fixed lifespan here, right? This association is for a fixed period. So what is the point in crying? But because of our attachment and because everyone is crying, so we have to cry. So all these are these clutters that we have in our mind because of our past impressions. Now with this reading, where is the cause of dukha? You tell me. In what circumstances you will feel miserable? You practice descriptive knowledge. You don't see him as a human being. You see him as a soul. The soul is eternal. It has taken birth into the next birth before the doctor comes and gives you a certificate. So there is no reason to be miserable or suffering. Okay. But we do that, and because of that, you bind asata vednya karma. Okay. So all these understanding will create an awareness you where with the strength of taking shelter in the soul, all these will go away. Otherwise, you have everything in mind that we should not do this and we should not. Charnan Yoga always tells in that manner only. Okay. So from Charnan Yoga, this is all good. But to put it in practice, you have to take the shelter of your pure soul, that is Dravyan Yoga, to bring in these effects. Okay. So, but we will always see what benefit we are going to get when we take shelter of the soul. So in that sense, these are all very, we can say, very attractive propositions for us to get into this spiritual upliftment. Okay. So mental stress arising from separation, Istaviyog, okay, from the desired, okay, Istaviyog, from the near and dear ones is called shok. Then intense regret or repentance is tap. It is not tap, it's tap. This diacritics, you know, A, if there is a diacritics above A, it becomes ah. Okay. Crying loudly due to suffering is akrandan. So crying naturally comes to women more than a man. Men are bit stronger than women, so they don't cry often. But women will cry like anything. Okay. So crying loudly due to suffering is akrandan. You know, and you know, we have this tendency in our community that whenever some dies, even if someone is not crying, they will make you cry because they feel that whatever is there in the heart, let it come out. Let it express it in the form of this crying and all. Okay. So that is again a practice. But if you are strong enough, you can wither all. Okay. So depends on your strength. Taking the life of any being is vad. Of course, if you are killing somebody, it's a cause of asata vednya karma, because you are creating asata to somebody else by killing him. Crying so bitterly that it melts the heart of the listener is called lamentation. Paridevana. So paridevana and crying loudly, akrandan. It's only a difference of degree. Both are similar, but this is more intense, parivedna. Okay. Thus, those who suffer themselves cause suffering to others or inflict distress upon themselves and others, generate an influx of unpleasant feeling producing karma. Asata vednya karma. Okay. So those who suffer themselves, they also bind such karmas. Cause suffering to others, then also you are binding such karmas, or inflict distress upon both. Now change this, make it very opposite. Those who enjoy themselves, make someone else also to enjoy, and help them to enjoy, and uh, so such will bind pleasant producing karma, sata vednya karma. Okay. Now we will see what are the causes of sata vednya karma. Read again, Hemali.
In general, all living beings are referred to as original living beings, bhuta.
Ordinary.
Sorry, ordinary living beings. Bhuta.
So can you tell me why this happens? The words are very clear, ordinary, and you are writing original. Why it happens? You can tell me.
Because of my what karma is this?
You are talking from Charnan Yoga. I want from Dravyan Yoga. Answer from Dravyan Yoga.
Because
Voice is independent.
yeah,
Speech is independent. We are not the doer of speech.
yeah,
Although the words are ordinary, and you are reading.
original.
Why? So this is the cause. And what you said is from Charnan Yoga. So I am not highlighting the Charnan Yoga. I want to highlight the Dravyan Yoga. Okay? Carry on.
In general, all living beings are referred to as ordinary living beings, Bhuta. However, the term Bhuta used here has no connection to the Vyantar class of celestial being known as Bhuta Vantar Devs, Deva,
So
showing
Vyantar Dev we read extensively in 6th chapter. So there are 10 species of Vyantar Deva, and Bhoot is one of them. Ghost, what we call. Okay? Continue.
showing compassion, anukampa, towards Bhuta, ordinary living beings, respectfully inviting and offering food to Anuvrati, partial vow holders, and especially offering food and other essentials to Mahavrati, complete vow holders, with ninefold devotion, Navadha Bhakti, practicing self restraint with attachment, Sarag,
Sarag Sayam.
Sarag Sayam, following partial self-discipline, samya masmya,
Sarag Sayam.
sarag sayam. No, this one, samya sayam.
Sayam Asayam. Okay.
Sayam
Asayam.
sayam.
5th stage, this Sayam Asayam.
Engaging in spiritual practices, yoga, maintaining peace, shanti, preserving purity, pavitrata, and refraining from intense greed and other passions. Such activities lead to the influx of unpleasant, feeling producing karma asra of sata vednya karma. The phrase bhuta vyata bhuta pratya anukampadana can also be interpreted as showing compassion towards both Bhuta, ordinary living beings, and Vrati, vow holders, and offering them respectful and appropriate donations, which becomes the cause of bondage of Sata Vednya Karma. Compassion, that is Anukampa, is of two types. Bhuta Anukampa, compassion towards ordinary living beings, and Vratya Anukampa, compassion towards vow holders. Thus, one should offer Anukampa, compassion, and Daan, charity to Bhuta, ordinary living beings, and respectfully provide appropriate food and other necessities to Vrati, vow holders. Vow holders, Vrati, are of two types, Anukampa, which is partial vow holders, and Mahavrati. Anuvrati, partial vow holders, and Mahavrati, complete vow holders. Therefore, offering food and other necessities to Anuvrati with respect and invitation, and to Mahavrati and Navada Bhakti, ninefold devotion, are considered as the causes of asana of Sata Vednya Karma. The description of vows, Vrat, will be elaborated in the 7th chapter.
So you see two types of compassion: Bhutanukampa, compassion towards ordinary living beings, and compassion towards vow holders. And vow holders are also of two types: minor vow holder and major vow holder. So minor are Shravaks only, 4th stage and 5th stage, particularly 5th stage, they are called Vrati. And the Mahavrati are the monks, So for monks, you have to offer ninefold devotions, Navda Bhakti. Okay. So there are 9 things that you need to do. That's why it is called ninefold devotion. Okay. So if you are doing into this, then you will be binding karmas of Sata Vednya Karma. Okay. So simple, nothing very great about it. So we have two different sets of causes, one for Asata Vednya and one for Sata Vednya. So even if you are binding Sata Vednya, you are not getting liberated. Okay. So these are all auspicious bondage only. So we have to consider it in that sense. Now the next causes of the influx of deluding karma. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, sir, may I ask a question? Sir, now, sir, when you kind of offer, respect, invitation to Mahavdati, sir, it is, many people, like when I was little, my great grandmother used to tell Masati ji's ke ghare padharjo, padharjo. No, but now, so, it is being told that, all this is, none of them are true monks, so there's no point calling them to our house. So, what is the right thing, sir?
So the right thing is you have to come out of that, You cannot be following that religion and you not calling Mahasati ji, right? If you are following that religion, then you have to follow their directives. So you have to call, okay? Now this is one factor. Other factors is that now you know the truth. That doesn't mean that you will develop a feeling of aversion towards them. Okay? They are also God. Okay? Their ignorance is there just because they didn't get the right context, right? They didn't get the scriptures. So they are into it. So that doesn't mean that we have to have an aversion against them. Okay. So when their time will come, they will also understand. If they are willing to learn, then you can go and teach them, right? So we have to do positive things. Negative things will automatically go away on its own. Now, if you are in a family, all of your in-laws and all are following that, then you certainly cannot revolt in that manner. You have to take a very soft kind of approach. At the same time, you are not, you know the truth. So you have to put it in a better way, So if they are ready to understand, it's okay. If they are not ready to understand, let them follow that, no? At least they are getting involved in some kind of auspicious activity. That is what we have to take from that. Okay. Now, if they are not ready to accept, then what you can do? So leave it where it is. Okay. With time, they will all either understand, or with time, you will go so deep into it, then it will not become a concern for you that why they are not following, why not. Just as I said, as you go more deep, you realize the independent nature of each things. So that feeling only doesn't come, to teach somebody or to say something like that. So it's all very natural progress, that's going to happen. So you have to be patient. Everything doesn't happen at once. So gradually things will turn around. One of our student, so she was the only member who was following this Paramagam honors course, and all others were, Svetambars. So he has to do that Bateta Kanda and all and that. So he was complaining, she was complaining to me that what should I do? I don't like these, that. I said that you have understood it right now. Okay. They have not understood it. So you have to understand. So you have to adjust. Okay. And with time, if your purity is there, they will understand. And so happened that within 2 years, everyone left this kanda, batata, everything. What happened? Nobody knows, but it so happened that everyone stopped. So like it's again our past karmas that are coming into fruition.
When your son was born, you were telling us that he would not eat kanda and all that, then all of you changed.
Yeah. So like it's all very temporary phenomena. The big thing is that how fast you are able to adapt these teachings and preachings, how fast you are able to come to a conclusion, how fast you are able to apply it in your day-to-day life and get the desired result. Okay. So everything is on us. We have nobody to blame. Okay. So we have to be very, very soft and simple at heart while behaving with our family members, because they are also God. From what perspective you are looking at them? Okay. They are not the body that you are looking at. They are also pure soul. Of course, the level of ignorance is there, and that's temporary phenomenon. That will also go. Okay. Okay. So causes of the influx of deluding karma, monia karma. Okay. Yeah. Amitaji, now you can read.
Yes, sir.
Okay, carry on.
Causes of the influx of deluding karma, Mohonia karma. After discussing Vednya karma, we now examine the causes of ashrav of Mohonia karma as stated in the following verses. Slandering Avarnavad, the Kevali, omniscient being, Shastra scripture. Thank you, Hemali.
Samaga monastic order.
Okay. Dharma, religion, and Deva, celestial beings, leads to the ashram of belief deluding karma, darshan Mohonia karma. Due to the rise of Kashai passions, when one's mental states become intensely impure, the ashram of conduct deluding karma, charitra Mohonia karma, occurs. Saying that the Arhanta Bhagwan consumes solid food, Kaval Ahar, is an example of slandering the Kebali. Claim that the scriptures, Shastras, permit meat consumption is an example of slandering the Sruta, sacred text. Falsely accusing monks, sadhu, and their Sangha, monastic community, is Sangha Avarnavada. Finding faults in the Ahimsamaya, non-violent Ratnatraya Dharma, three jewels of Jainism, or misrepresenting the Vitragi Dharma, passionless religion, as full attachment is Dharma Avarnavad.
So what is slandering? False allegation. Okay. So whenever
I'm
you
not done.
Acha.
Sorry, Rajesh, but we still have a little bit to read.
Yeah.
Thank you, Himali. Similarly, attributing false defects to celestial beings, Dev, accusing them of being addicted to alcohol or consuming meat, is Dev Avarnavad. Thus, falsely accusing Dev, Shastra, Guru, Dharma, and celestial beings from the Devgati, celestial realm, leads to the ashram of Darshan Mohonia Karma, which is the cause of Mithyatva, wrong belief, karma. Likewise, the intense emotions arising from Kashai passions, such as extreme anger, krodh, etc., lead to the ashram of Charitra Mohaniya Karma, meaning the bondage of karma related to anger and their passions. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you,
So,
Emily.
yeah. So slandering is false allegation. Okay. So these kind of karma, if you bound this kind of karma with false allegations, particularly to Dev Shastra Guru. Okay. So there you are binding such karmas that which will not allow you to manifest right belief. Okay. You will bind such karma, darshan monia karma. Slandering the Kevali, then Shastra, then Sangha, monastic order, Dharma, religion, and Dev, celestial beings, and also our true gods, like Aryant and Siddha. Of course, Kevali is mentioned in the first one, omniscient being. So Siddhas are also omniscient beings, so it is included in that. So here Deva would mean only celestial beings, leads to the asra influx of belief deluding karma. So deluding karma are of two types, belief and conduct. So belief is, these are the reasons, and due to the rise of passions, when one's mental states become intensely impure, the influx of conduct deluding karma, charitra monia karma, occurs. Saying that Aryan Bhagwan consumes solid food, kavla har, is an example of slandering the Kevali. Okay. So Kevalis don't have this kavla har. Okay. They don't consume food only. Because food is a kind of flaws. So when he attained the Aryant Avastha, all the 18 kinds of flaws have been destroyed. Okay, so they don't consume solid food. Claiming that the scripture permit meat consumption is an example of slandering the truth. Falsely accusing monks, sadhu, and their sangha, monastic communities, sangha varnvad. Finding faults in the ahimsamay, non-violent ratnatray dharma, three jewels of Jainism, or misrepresenting the vitragi dharma as full of attachment is dharma avarnvad. Okay, so your similar, if your understanding is false, then these will happen. Okay, and if you have a true understanding, this is not going to happen. Similarly, attributing false defects to celestial beings, accusing them of being addicted to alcohol or consuming meat is Dev Anurvad. In some of the scriptures, it is also mentioned that these celestial beings, they have sexual relations with a human woman, you know. So that is also a Vanvad. In some of the scriptures, it is mentioned. Thus, falsely accusing Dev, Shastra, Guru, Dharma, and celestial beings from the Devgati leads to the influx of Darshan Monia karma, which is the cause of Mithyatva, wrong belief karma. Likewise, the intense emotions arising from passion, such as extreme anger, etc., lead to the influx of conduct deluding karma, meaning the bondage of karma related to anger and other passions. Very simple, nothing to explain. Now the next is influx of lifespan determining karma. Okay, so this sequence is followed in Tattvat Sutra. Otherwise, generally we have first 4 obscuring karma and then 4 non-obscuring karma. So we have Jnana Varna, Darshana Varna, Moni and Antaray, and then Ayu Nam Gotra, like that. But here it's the sequence is different in Tattvat Sutra. So the 4th one is influx of lifespan determining karma. So this is the 5th one. Okay, 5th one. Because Grana Varna and Dashna Varna have been together. That's why. Rekha, you read.
Yes, sir. Influx of lifespan determining karma. Ayu karma. After discussing the causes of Mohaniya karma's ashra, we now describe the ashra of Ayu karma as stated in the following verses. Excessive engagement in violence, aramba, and excessive possession, parigraha, lead to the ashram of Narakayu, hellish lifespan karma. Deceptive conduct, mayachar, leads to the ashram of Tiryanch, animal lifespan karma. Minimal violence, alparamba, and minimal possession, alpa parigraha, lead to the ashram of Manushyayu, human lifespan karma. A naturally gentle disposition, Swabhava Mardava, also leads to the ashram of Manushyayu. Thank you. Those who do not observe the 5 minor vows, Panchanavrat, and the 7 disciplinary vows, Saptashila, even while practicing minimal violence and minimal possession, accumulate ashrams for all types of Ayu karma. Beings in Bhogabhumi, pleasure lands, do not observe vows, vrat, or ethical conduct, shil, yet they accumulate the ashram of Devayu, celestial lifespan karma. The presence of passionate restraint, Saraga Samyama, Saraga
So you
Samyama,
have to correct the names. I will just tell you the correct names. The presence of
passionate,
no, the presence of, you can write, you cut passionate, self restraint with attachment. Self restraint with attachment.
Saraga Samyama.
Then partial restraint is okay. Then this akam nirjara. Akam nirjara is undesired shedding of karma. You can write down. undesired shedding of karma. Then we have childish austerity, that would be ignorant austerity. Now we are good, you can read. You have changed the words?
The presence of self-restraint, saragi sayam, partial restraint, sayam asayam,
Self-restraint with attachment.
self-restraint with attachment.
Yes.
And partial restraint, sayam asayam, non-attachment based austerity, kamanastra, and the childish austerity, valdam, also contribute to the ashram of Devayu. Even samyaktva, right belief, is considered a cause of Devayu's ashram. Keep in mind that a Samyak Drishti being does not take birth as a Bhavanvasi, Vyantar, or Jyotishi deity. This means that they are always born as Brahmanic deities. While Samyak Darshan is possible for Bhavanvasi, Vyanvantar, and Jyotishi deities, no being is ever born with Samyak Darshan in these forms. Thank you.
If a Samyak Drashti,
If a Samyak Drishti being is born as a Manushya or Tiryancha, they will be reborn as Vaimanik Dev, but not as a goddess Devi. If they are born as a Dev or Naraki, they will take rebirth as Manushya, and even among Manushyas only as male Purusha.
although
Definitions.
although Samyak Darshan is not a cause of us.
Although Samyak Darshan is not a cause of Ashra, Samyak beings take birth only as a Vaimanik Dev. Therefore, it has been included among the causes of Devayu's Ashra. Definitions. Sarag Sayam, self-restraint with attachment. Observing self-restraint with attachment. Rag. Sayama Sayam, partial self-restraint. A state where one renounces Trasahimsa, violence towards mobile beings, but does not renounce Havahimsa, violence towards immobile beings. Akamanizra, undesired shedding of karma. The shedding of karma by enduring hunger, thirst, and hardships without desire and with peace acceptance. Baltam, ignorant austerity. Austerity tap performed without self-awareness. Atmagnan.
Sir, the translation of Akam Nirjara is undesired shedding. So, sir, it seems that it is not desirable to do Akam Nirjara in that case. So it should
Yes.
be not deliberate. It should be not deliberate shedding of karma. Shedding of karma is always desirable, sir.
No, there is Akam Nirjara also, there is Sakam Nirjara also, there is Dravya Nirjara also, there is Bhav Nirjara also, then there is Avipak Nirjara also and Savipak Nirjara also. Okay. So Avipak and Savipak are the differences of Dravya Nirjara, and Akam and Sakam Nirjara is of Bhav Nirjara. Okay. So Akam Nirjara is just the Nirjara that happens because of the mild passions. Okay. Now supposing मतलब किसी ने जख्म पर नमक छेड़ दिया, okay, and you are not reacting, so that is a cause of akam nirjara. That is what explained in Chadala. Chadala we had this word akam nirjara.
Yes,
So
sir.
as far as the path of liberation is concerned, this is not helping in any way, okay, akam nirjara. But sakam nirjara is helping. It's only the enlightened ones have sakam nirjara. Okay. So akam nirjara, you got the right meaning, no?
No, so
Yes, sir,
undesired,
but
what he's saying, undesired is the wrong word. The
sir,
trans
undesired to say it is undesired, sir. It would be wrong to say that any kind of shedding of karma is undesired. It may be not purposeful. So
Okay.
it may be not purposeful, or it may be not deliberate, but it is still shedding of karma.
Shedding of karma is there, but that's a normal shedding of karma. It's happening to all people, right? The past are coming into fruition, it is shedding of karma. Now, undesired, akam nirjara. So, what words you want to use here?
Actually, sir, it means the word has been used, I think, to convey the meaning that it has not been desired by the person who is doing it.
That is true. But again, that's done due to ignorance, right? Akam nirjara. It's not the enlightened one who is doing nirjara,
But
right?
it
So
can be involuntary. Something we do voluntarily, but something happens involuntarily. Probably that is what
Yes,
is.
yes.
that could be a better word. So we can change it to involuntary. Let's keep it
Yeah.
for, I'll think and let you know. Involuntary is also good. So these are all translated by, Chat GPT. Okay. So you see uh, at the top, the presence of passionate restraint. At the bottom, same thing they have written as self-restraint with attachment. Okay. So these are good names, self-restraint with attachment, Sarag Sanyam, Rag Sahit Sanyam. So this is good. Sanyama Sanyam, partial self-restraint is also good. Akam Nirjara we have to check. And Baltap is okay, or ignorant austerity. Okay. Okay, so these are the causes of influx of lifespan determining karma. Okay. Now, the causes of the influx of physic determining karma, Nam karma. Who will read? Malti ji, you read.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Himali, I'm dependent on you.
1 second.
Where is your book?
Sir, it is there, but I'm not. Actually, I am not at home.
Okay.
And I'm just going to, anyways, even probably switch off from the class. I'm sorry for that, sir. वो कुछ
No problem.
जरूरी काम है, that's why.
No problem. It is good that still you have joined.
No, so इसके बिना, it's like it's become a habit. We cannot, we get restless if we don't attend the class. ये तो है, sir.
That's a very good sign. That's a very good sign. Nobody has said this
It
so
looks
far.
like we are missing out. अगर नहीं attend करेंगे, मुझे लग रहा था मुझे, I mean, I'll miss out on it.
Okay.
True.
Yeah.
It's the same, sir.
The cause of ashram, influx of Tirthankar Nam Karma. Although Tirthankar Nam Karma is also included in Nam Karma, due to its distinctiveness, it is mentioned separately, which is as follows.
So we are on to now causes of influx of physic determining karma. You have gone one page ahead. Yes, this one.
I'm sorry.
The causes of the influx of physique determining karma, that is Nam Karma. After discussing the causes of Ayu Karma Ashra, we now examine the causes of No Karma Nam Karma Ashra, which are as follows. The distortion, that is Vakrata of Yog, that is the deceitfulness of mind, Mana, speech, Vachan, and body, Kaya, along with Vishamvad, conflict, leads to the ashram of Ashubh Namkarm. Conversely, the causes opposite to those of Ashubh Namkarm, such as straightforwardness of Man Vachan Kai and the absence of Vishamvad, lead to the ashram of Shubh Namkarm. When the deceitfulness of Man Vachan Kai exists internally, Swagata, it is called Yagava
Yoga
Yoga when the same deceitfulness manifests externally, causing conflict with others, it is termed as Vishamvad. The word cha in the sutra suggests that other factors such as false beliefs, mithya darshan, backbiting, chugalkhori, mental instability, chitta ki asthirata, and using different weights and measures, तोलने नापने की भमता अलग अलग रखना, can also be considered part of Yog Vakrata. Similarly, opposite qualities should be included in the context of Shubh Nam Karm, such as respect towards Dharmika, co-religious individuals, fear of worldly existence, Samsar Bhirutta, and vigilance, Apramad, all of which contribute to the ashram of Shubh Nam Karm.
So what is the difference between Yog Vakrata and Visamvad? Okay. Yog Vakrata is crooked activity. And the difference is mentioned in the English book. Okay. I'm just sharing the photo of that in the group so that you can refer it to it. So there are three differences. Okay. First one minute. Let me share this. So I've shared it. So what is Yog Vakrata and what is Visamvad? Visamvad is conflict with others, and Yog Vakrata is the deceitful act of mind, speech, and body. Okay. So these crooked activities, you can see Yog Vakrata, this is for oneself. Okay. And this Visamvad is for others. That is the main difference. The second is deceiving activities of mind, speech, and body. And this is deceiving activities prompting false faith. The third one is cause, and this is action, cause and effect. Okay. So these are the two differences. Both of them leads to what? Influx of physics determining karma. You know, how good looking you would be, how bad looking good you would be. All these are effects of physics forming karma, right? You have a good voice, somebody doesn't have a good voice. Okay. Recently Asha Bhosle, so she has got a golden voice, but actually it is the play of Nam Karma. Okay. So all these understanding helps us in not getting into such kind of activities. Okay. Now there is a special mention of Tirthankar Nam Karma. Okay. So Tirthankars are only 24 in a one Koda Kodi Sagar's period. Okay. Only 24. But as a seeker, everyone practices this Sola Karan Bhavana. You know, they celebrate this Sola Karan Bhavana. It is thrice in a year, and people religiously celebrate this festival just because everyone wants to become a Tirthankar. You can simply become a normal omniscient and get liberated. Okay. But people have this mindset to become a Tirthankar. So they religiously follow this 16 casual contemplations. Okay. Sola Karana Bhavana. 16 causal. It's not casual, but causal. Spelling is a bit different. CAUSAL. Causal. Karan, cause. Okay. So 16 causal contemplations, these are also very interesting. And of course, those who are going to become Tirthankar, they do have in this in their life. But the other condition is also there, and that is the Tirthankar Nam Karma is bound only in the presence of a Kevli. Okay. So two conditions are there. The Kevli should be present, some Kevli should be present live. And the second one is that this 16 causal contemplations. Okay. So Soumya, you read this Sola Karan.
You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. The cause of Ashrav influx of Tirthankar Nam Karma. Although Tirthankar Nam Karma is also included in Nam Karma, due to its distinctiveness, it is mentioned separately, which is as follows. दर्शन विशुद्धि विनय संपन्नता शील व्रतेश्वनति चारो अभीक्षण ज्ञानोपयोग संवेग शक्ति त्याग तपसी साधु समाधि वैयावृत्तिकरण अर्हद अर्हद आचार्य बहुश्रुत प्रवचन भक्ति आवश्यक परिहाणी मार्ग प्रभावना प्रवचन वात्सल्यत्वमिति तीर्थंकरत्वस्य इन षोडश ये षोडश कारण भावनाएं तीर्थंकर नाम कर्म के आश्रव के कारण हैं। इन षोडश कारण भावनाओं को षोडश कारण भावना भी कहते हैं। दर्शन विशुद्धि, that is purity of right perception. विनय संपन्नता, possessing humility. निरतिचार शील व्रत, faultless conduct of vows. अभीक्षण ज्ञानोपयोग, frequent application of knowledge. अभीक्षण संवेग, constant spiritual intensity. Shaktitas-tyag, donation according to one's capacity. Shaktitas-tap, austerity according to one's capacity. Sadhu samadhi, meditative absorption of ascetics. Vayyavrttikaran, rendering service to saints. Arhat bhakti, devotion to the Arhat. Acharya Bhakti, devotion to the Acharya. Bahushrut Bhakti, devotion to the learned one. Upadhyay. Pravachan Bhakti, devotion to the scripture or discourse. Avashyak Parihani, non-neglect of essential duties. Marg Prabhavna, that is propagation of the path of liberation. And Pravachan Vatsalya, affection to the preaching or spiritual discourse. These 16 reflections are also called the Shodash Karan Bhavna, that is 16 virtues.
Stop.
Vishuddha,
Stop. So you have to do the correction. The first one, Darshan Vishuddhi, it would be purity of right belief. Darshan here means Shraddha. It's not perception. Okay. Belief. And Sola Karan Bhavana is 16 causal contemplations. So ChatGPT has written somewhere 16 reflections, somewhere 16 auxiliary contemplations. So different names have been given at different times. But one common name that we are going to use is 16 causal contemplations. Okay, causal. That one, now number 6, Sakti Tyag. Tyag is renunciation. Renunciation. Renunciation according to one's capacity. Then, so these are the major corrections. So everywhere, if these names appear, you have to put it in the correct sense. Okay.
प्रांजल के लिए भी खरीद देना भाई, प्रांजल के लिए भी खरीद दे। जब तू खरीदे ना ऐसे डिफरेंट कलर या डिफरेंट
Excuse me, sir.
चॉप कर दिया उसने
हाँ।
गधे ने।
हाँ, मालती
हाँ, कर दिया, मैं म्यूट कर दी।
हाँ सर, ये 6th वाला शक्तित्व त्याग जो है, renunciation, what did you say, renunciation
According to one's capacity. वो ठीक है, बाकी का ठीक है, खाली डोनेशन की जगह रिनाउंसिएशन होगा। ओके। और जहां जहां 16 कारण भावना आएगा वुड बी 16 कॉजल कंटेम्पलेशंस, वो आप कर लेना, बाकी सब ठीक है। कंटिन्यू। नाउ ईच विल बी एक्सप्लेन्ड। या सौम्या।
the 16 reflections are also called the Shodash Karan Bhavana, 16 virtues. Vishuddha Samyak Darshan means the purity associated with right faith. The most intense inclination combined with genuine reverence towards the non-attached path to liberation, as explained by the Arihant, is called Darshan Vishuddhi, purity of faith. The ashrav, influx and bandh, bondage of Tirthankar Prakriti begin only from the 4th Gunasthan, spiritual stage. This clearly implies that the presence of Vishuddha Samyak Darshan, pure right faith, is essential for the bondage of Tirthankar Prakriti. The Darshan Vishuddhi is the first among the 16 Karan Bhavana, 16 essential contemplations. Second, being endowed with the feeling of reverence towards the attributes of darshan, faith, gyan, knowledge, and charitra, conduct, which constitute the nature of the path of liberation, moksha marg, as well as towards the beings who possess darshan, gyan, and charitra, is called vinay sampannata, endowed with humility. It is the second of the Sodash Karan Bhavana. Third, observing the 5 major vows and 7 supplementary vows without any transgression is called Niratichar Shil Vrat, faultless observance of conduct vows. It is the third of the Sodash Karan Bhavana, 16 reflective contemplations. The nature of these 5 vows and 7 supplementary vows will be explained in detail in the next chapter. Fourth, remaining constantly engaged in the pursuit of right knowledge to the self and other fundamental truths. Jivadi Swatattva is called Abhikshana Jnanopayog, intense application to knowledge. It is the 4th of the Sodash Karan Bhavana. Constant engagement in the self-study of Jinagam, canonical texts, and scriptures related to Jain spirituality is referred to as Abhikshana Jnanopayog. Fifth, remaining continuously detached from the miseries of the worldly existence is called Abhikshana Samveg, intense spiritual anguish. It is the 5th of the Shodash Karan Bhavana. Sixth, Having the intent to renounce according to one's capacity and developing the intent to give in charity is called Shaktitah Tyag, renunciation to the best of one's ability. It is the sixth of the Sodash Karan Bhavana. In the context of Shaktitah Tyag, renunciation to the best of one's ability, contemplation, Acharya Aklank Dev in his Tattvarth Rajvartik, while discussing three types of donations, draws attention to a very significant point. He writes, A. By giving food, ahar, the recipient experiences joy on that very day. B. Through granting fearlessness, abhaydan, the suffering of the present life is removed, thus the recipient feels relief. C. The donation of knowledge, Gyan Dan, is that which liberates from the suffering of countless lifetimes. In this way, within the Shodashkaran Bhavana, by highlighting the unparalleled greatness of Gyan Dan, the contemplation of Abhikshana Gyanopayog, intense application to knowledge, is further encouraged. Seventh, remaining engaged and active in the 12 types of austerities, the according to one's capacity is called Shaktitas Tab, the seventh of the Shodashkaran Bhavana. Among the 12 types of austerities, tabs, there is also one called Swadhyay, spiritual scripture study, which emphasizes the worship of knowledge. 8. Cultivating the intent to attain appropriate meditative absorption, samadhi, like that of ascetics, and to serve those who are established in samadhi, is called sadhu samadhi, the eighth of the Shodashkaran Bhavana, 16 auxiliary contemplations. Ninth, engaging to the best of one's ability in the service of co-religionists and ascetics is called Vaiyavrittikaran, the ninth of the Shodashkaran Bhavana. 10 to 13, having devotional reverence towards the Arihant, Acharya, Upadhyayas, who possess vast scriptural knowledge, Bahushrutvant, and towards the jin's teachings, Pravachan is called respectively Arhant Bhakti, Acharya Bhakti, Upadhyaya Bhakti, and Pravachan Bhakti. These are the 10th to 13th of the Shodashkaran Bhavana, that is 16 auxiliary contemplations. Even within these four forms of devotion, the worship of knowledge, Jnana Aradhana, is distinctly evident. Thus, we observe that even among these Solah Karan Bhavana, Swadhyaya, self-study remains of utmost importance. 14th, observing the six avashyaks, essential duties, is called Avashyak Aparihani, the 14th of the Shodashkaran Bhavana. Among the Munis, ascetics, and Shravaks, lay followers, both observe the six avashyaks, including Swadhyaya, scriptural study. However, for householders, avashyaks like Dev Puja, worship of the divine, are omitted in the case of Munis. 15th, enhancing one's soul with the brilliance of the Ratnatraya, three jewels, right faith, right conduct, right knowledge, and right conduct, and promoting Jin Darshan, veneration of the Jin, through donations, worship, etc., is called Marg Prabhavna, the 15th of the Shodashkaran Bhavana. 16th, just as a cow selflessly displays motherly affection towards her calf, similarly, having selfless affection to fellow spiritual aspirants. Sadharmi Bhai Bahino, and for teachings of the Jinn is called Pravachan Vatsalya, the 16th of the Shodashkaran Bhavana. Thus, we see that even among these 16 auxiliary contemplations, Shodashkaran Bhavana, Swadhyaya, scriptural study holds primary importance.
So, a co-religionist. So, spelling mistake was there. So, co-religionists are also called fellow aspirants or spiritual aspirants. So, we have three names. Somewhere it's written co-religionist, sadharmic. Then somewhere it is written fellow aspirants, and somewhere it is written spiritual aspirants. So, which one would you suggest a good name for sadharmic? Co-religionist is good, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Or spiritual experiments. I like both the names. But co-religionist is what we like to adapt here, okay? Okay, so everything else is self-explanatory. If you have not understood anything, you can ask. Otherwise, I think it is all very self-explanatory. And Sola Karan Bhavana people have been doing puja since long, long time, you know. Uh, so, okay. So these are all kind of auspicious activities, and these auspicious activities will lead to the bondage of Tirthankar Nam Karma. But as I said, the Tirthankars are only 24 in a cycle. So, but again, the second condition of the presence of a omniscient being is also a factor. So everyone is not going to bind Tirthankar Nam Karma. Okay. But
So can you emphasize on that, on the Kevli part, like the presence of a Kevli? What does that mean?
So Tirthankar Nam Karma, it's a special kind of bondage, okay? And the main underlying theme behind this bondage is that we want to share this spiritual knowledge with everyone, you know. Let everyone be happy like me. I am now tension free. I'm enjoying my life. I don't never have feelings of sufferings anytime. Okay. So all these we like to share with others. So that feeling of sharing with others is a cause of Tirthankar Nam Karma. Because whatever we have got in terms of Jinwani, that has come from Tirthankar. Okay. So a question could be that which Tirthankar you are talking about. So always it is the last Tirthankar that is considered as we are in now the regime of Mahavir Bhagwan. Okay. Before Mahavir Bhagwan was there, it was the regime of Parshvanath Swami. Before that, Neminath. Okay. So similarly, after each Tirthankar an era goes, okay, by its name. So right now we are under the Mahavir Swami because it is the last Tirthankar. Okay. So, so presence of Kevli is a must for binding Tirthankar Nam Karma. So Srenik Raja also binded Tirthankar Nam Karma, and he is going to be the first Tirthankar in the next cycle of 24 Tirthankars. Okay. So the presence of omniscient is a must condition for you to bind Tirthankar Nam Karma. Okay. So that the
Sir, I would
discussion.
like to add here about the condition that actually it is, I have heard somewhere that to bind Tirthankar Nam Karma Prakriti, the amount or the level of auspicious thoughts that you should be having, that is only possible in the at the feet of the Kevli. So therefore, it is an essential condition for binding of Tirthankar Nam Karma
Right,
Prakriti.
right. So that level of auspicious, that is also a valid logic. And more discussion on this question is coming up after we finish these 8 karmas. So I think 2-3 questions are based on this particular discussion. So we will everything will be clear at that point of time.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay.
So Madhuji,
That is
now you read cause of the influx of status determining karma, Gotra karma.
yes, sir. Causes of influx of status determining karma, that is Gotra karma. After discussing the causes of the influx, that is ashra, of Nam karma, we now return to the causes of the influx of Gotra karma, which are as follows. A socially respected and virtuous lineage is considered a high status, whereas a socially disreputable and immortal family is considered low status. Criticizing others, praising oneself, diminishing the virtues present in others, concealing them, and projecting virtues that do not actually exist in oneself, that is, displaying such tendencies, leads to the influx of low status lineage. The opposite causes, such as praising others, criticizing ourselves, highlighting the good qualities of others, while concealing their inappropriate ones, not displaying even one's own worthy virtues, remaining humble before virtuous individuals, and not being arrogant despite possessing virtues, are all Causes of the ashraf, influx of high status lineage. The presence of noble qualities is noble persons leads to ashraf, influx of high status lineage, whereas possessing qualities resembling those of individuals from lowly lineages results in the ashraf of that is low status lineage. So it's over.
So you see, both the causes are given: criticizing others, praising self, diminishing the virtues present in others, concealing them. All these are negative emotions. Okay. The whole world, the whole motivating world, there are so many motivating speakers. They all emphasizes on creating positivity, creating positivities. So if you get involved in such activity, of course the negativities will spread, and these are all the causes of influx of different types of karmas that we discussed just now. Okay. So criticizing other, praising oneself, diminishing virtues in others, concealing them, and projecting virtues that do not actually exist in oneself. Okay. Displaying such tendency leads to the influx of low status lineage. The opposite causes, such as praising others and criticizing ourselves, quite reverse. Highlighting the good qualities of others while concealing their inappropriate ones. Not displaying even one's own worthy virtues, remaining humble before virtuous individuals, and not being arrogant despite possessing virtues are all causes of influx of high status lineage. So if you get involved in this kind of, say, negative activities, what happens now? First, we are the first one to suffer. When you manifest any kind of negative emotions, we are the first victim of that result. Okay. And then what it does to others, that depends on their karmas. But as far as we are concerned, if we are manifesting any of the negative emotions, we are the first sufferer. Okay. On the contrary, if you learn these techniques, if you understand these techniques, you'll be always positive in life, and helping positive in life helps us to enjoy our life. So basically it all boils down to our own welfare. Okay. Understanding these all causes leads to our own welfare. Okay. And it's a very good art of living also. Okay. So these causes are all very good, and that's why I've given you an homework for this CC2. Okay. Now coming on to the last one, Antarai karma, causes of the influx of obstructive karma. Pratibhaji. Unmute yourself. Yeah.
Thank you. Causes of influx of obstructive karma, antaraya. Now, finally, let us shed light on the causes of influx, asra of antaraya karma, obstructive karma. The influx of antaraya karma, obstructive karma, occurs by creating obstacles in charity, gain, consumable, reusable, and energy. This means
Stop. Let's do the correction. So we have 5 terms here: Dan, Labh, Bhog, Upbhog, and Virya. So Dan is charity, but a good word would be gift. Okay, gift. Dan. Then Labh is gain. Okay. Bhog is single use consumables. Single use consumables. So you have to write single use add. Okay. Then Upbhog is reusable consumables. Reusable consumables. And the last one is energy, which is correct. Okay. So these names you have to use again in the next paragraph. So you have to correct it. Okay. So charity would be gift, single use consumables, reuse consumables. Okay. Now continue.
And energy, what you said, sir?
Energy is correct.
Reuse, no. What is the word you said? Energy is energy.
Energy is only correct.
Okay.
Virya is energy.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
This means that creating obstacles in someone's charity leads to the influx of Dan Antaray Karma, obstruction to charity. In their gains, it leads to Labh Antaray Karma, obstruction to gain. In their enjoyment, it causes Bhog Antaray Karma, obstruction to enjoyment. In their consumables.
So you
that
have
is
to
the
change this,
single
huh? You have to
use
change this.
consumable, right?
You
Yeah.
have to change the words. I
Yeah.
told you about
Yes.
consumables would be single-use consumables, and where they have written consumables, actually it is reusable consumables. Okay, that much you have to change. Single use and reusable.
Reusable is consumable, and the consumables are single-use consumables.
Yes, very good.
Yeah. It results in Upbhog Antaray Karma, obstruction to consumables, and in their energy. It causes Vir Antaray Karma, obstruction to spiritual energy. That which is used only once is called Bhog, single use, that is a single use consumable. That which is used repeatedly is called Upabhog, reusable consumable. Items like bread, lentil, sweets, and savories are bhog, whereas items like chairs, tables, and fans are upabhog. If we desire that all our actions proceed without any obstacles, then we too should not become an obstruction in others' efforts. We should not attempt to create antaraya obstacle in their task. We should also not harbor the feelings that they should not succeed in their endeavors.
So you see,
The cause of
Bhog is single-use consumable. Here they have written it correctly. And the next one is reusable consumable. Okay. So if we create obstacles to someone, then we will bind such karma that we will also face those obstacles in our life. Okay. So the instruction is very clear that we have to refrain from such activities if we don't if we don't want to suffer from those kind of miseries. Okay. So these are all your homework for CC2. You have to write each point wise, and you have to add up with all the 8 pages that I have shared. There are different causes also given which are not included here. Okay. So that also you refer and write a proper CC2. Okay. And the myth buster would be more important. Okay. That is where our belief changes, what belief we have changed, what was our earlier belief, and after reading this, what is our present belief, the changes that you observe that you have to write in the myth busters. Okay. So now some question answers in chapter 6, the one about the Tirthankar, and all good questions are there. So we will go through these questions. Jia, you start reading.
Yes, sir. Question 1. The question is, when it is written in the Shastra scriptures that except for Ayu karma, the bondage of the remaining 7 karmas continues uninterruptedly, then how is it that only the influx, ashrava of Jnana Varna and other karmas is said to occur due to transgressions? What does this mean? The implication is, under such circumstances, how can the causes of the influx of each karma be described separately?
So this we discussed in the beginning of the chapter. Okay. Again, it's coming. Yeah, it's
Answer.
right.
The answer is, as per every movement, prati samay, the influx of a specific quantity of karmic matter bound per unit time occurs. Although this movement-bound quantity of particles gets distributed among the remaining 7 karmas, excluding Ayu karma, yet the anubhag, intensity or potentiality to give results among them is determined according to the mentioned mental dispositions. The above statement should be understood from the perspective of anubhav, intensity of karmic creation. Should I read question 2, sir?
Yeah.
Question 2, the discussion of the causes of karmic influx for various karmas predominantly pertains to emotional states observed mainly in Sani Pamchendriya beings, sensate five-sensed beings. In such a situation, what is the condition of karmic influx in beings ranging from Ekendriya, one sensed, to Asani Panchendriya beings? The answer, the explanation is primarily intended for sensate beings with mind. Therefore, the entire discourse is from the perspective of Sani beings. Asani beings too, all though indirectly and in an unexpressed manner, experience karmic fruition, anubhag, due to similar types of dispositions.
So the first question was about the intensity, okay? Because of the difference in intensity, the bondage, there is a difference in the bondage of karmas also. So all these causes that we discussed just now for binding the 8 types of karmas, so these are being discussed from the perspective of intensity, okay? Otherwise, all the 7 karmas are being bound every moment except the lifespan determining karma. Okay, so all the 7 karmas are binding every moment, but because of the intensity, there is a difference. So which emotions creates more intensity of which karma? That is what we have studied so far in the causes of the bondage of 8 karmas. So these are all from the perspective of intensity. The second question, the person who is having a mind and the person who is not having a mind, what is the difference in the causes? So the causes are similar, more or less the same, but only thing is that the the person with mind, he can only put in efforts. Okay, those who are not having mind, they cannot have any kind of efforts. Okay, they are just enjoying the fruits of its past deeds. There is no spiritual effort that they can do. So basically the explanation is primarily intended to people with mind, okay? And if you are considering the bondage, it is more or less of the similar kind of bondage will happen on the manifestation of similar kind of sentiments. Now the main question about the Tirthankars, lot of questions were there about it. All these explanations are here. 4-5 questions has been answered on Tirthankars. So let's read that. Hemali.
Question 3. Is it necessary that all 16 causal contemplations, Soda Karan Bhavana, be present for the bondage of Tirthankar Nam Karma, Tirthankar Prakriti? Answer. The bondage of Tirthankar Nam Karma, Tirthankar Prakriti, occurs and continues to occur from the 4th stage of spiritual development, Gunasthan, up to the 6th subdivision of the 8th Gunasthan, because this is a continuously binding karma. Therefore, from the 4th stage up to the 6th part of the 8th stage, whatever kind of auspicious disposition, Shubh Bhav, and purified transformation, Vishuddha Parinam arise, almost all of them are included within these, the 16 causal contemplations. Because these 16 causal contemplations operate in both the householder, Shravak, and the ascetic, Muni states, the purified transformation, Vishuddha Parinam, that occur in both states have been encompassed within them. In fact, the bondage of Tirthankar Prakriti begins with purity of perception, Darshana Visuddhi.
So it is not perception, it is belief.
Belief. Okay. Purity of belief, darshan vishuddhi, accompanied by the most intense affection for fellow spiritual aspirants, sadharmi vatsalya, deep commitment to spiritual study, swadhyay, and the highest inspiration for the propagation of religion, dharma prabhavna. In the heart of such a right-believing soul, Samyak Drishti, an extremely intense disposition arises, namely that the supreme truth which has become clear to me should be attained by all fellow spiritual aspirants, and that the Bhagwan Atma should become the object of knowledge for the masses. From such disposition, the bondage of Tirthankar Prakriti begins. Owing to the absence of linguistic knowledge and the weakness of ordinary speech, such a soul experiences difficulty in conveying his message, the message of the Atma, to the masses. Yet his inner disposition is exceedingly powerful. As a result, he attains such divine speech, Divya Vani, that it is comprehended in 18 major languages and 700 minor languages with no obstruction of any kind. All this indeed constitutes the function of Tirthankar Prakriti. In this context, Pandit Kailash Chandji, the Siddhant Acharya writes, by the observance of all these, or even some of these, there is influx, asrav of Tirthankar Nam Karma. However, the presence of purity of belief, darshan vishuddhi, is essential. A point to be carefully noted is that the influx asra of this karma, known as Tirthankar Prakriti, begins at the feet of a Kevli or a Shrut Kevli from the 4th to the 7th stage of spiritual development, Gunasthan. This condition pertains to the initiation of influx, not to its continuous occurrence.
Read again the fourth one also.
Okay, sir. Question 4. Do all those who sincerely cultivate the 16 causal contemplations, Sora Karan Bhavana, necessarily attain the bondage of Tirthankar Prakriti? Answer. Those for whom the bondage of Tirthankar Prakriti is destined certainly do cultivate the 16 causal contemplations. As you already know, within a span of 10 Koda Kodi Sagar, only 24 Tirthankar arise in Bharat Kshetra. Therefore, only those souls for whom the bondage of Tirthankar Prakriti is destined truly cultivate the 16 causal contemplations, Sorakavan Bhavana.
Next also.
Okay, sir. Question 5. What do you mean by this? Do all those people who cultivate the 16 causal contemplations with great devotion, who observe the 16 cause vows, perform 16 cause worship, not attain the bondage of Tirthankar Prakriti? Answer. You yourself may consider this. If those who possess such inclinations and activities were to have influx, asra, of Tirthankar Prakriti, how many Tirthankars would then be? Moreover, there is also the condition of being at the feet of a Kevli or a Shrut Kevli. How many people have access to that? Oh, brother, this discussion of the causes of influx, asra, is meant to create detachment from those dispositions, not attachment to them. Dharma is a means for cutting off karma, not binding karma. In this treatise, Ratna Karanda Sravakachara Acharya Samantabhadra declares that dharma is that which removes karma. His statement is as follows: Desyami samichinam dharma kama nivaranam. I proclaim that dharma which brings about the cessation of karmas. No karma is worthy of being bound because of influx, asram, and bondage, ban, are objects to be abandoned, he tattva, not of acceptance, upade. If, after reading this section, we were to develop a sense of acceptability, upade buddhi, towards karma, towards karmic influx, towards the causes of karmic influx, or towards karmic bondage, then we would be making a reprehensible attempt to extract poison from the great ocean-like scripture of nectar. O brother, without any distinction, any influx disposition, asra bhav, have been described as intensely productive of suffering. Asra dukkha kara ghenare buddhivanta tinhe nirvere. Therefore, it is not wise to harbor a sense of acceptability, upade buddhi, towards any form of influx, whether auspicious influx, shubh ashra, or inauspicious influx, ashubh asana, mild influx or intense influx, meritorious influx, punya asana or demeritorious influx, pap asana. Thus, the 6th chapter concludes here.
So let's finish this discussion, and then I will come to again 7 fundamental elements. And among the 7 fundamentals, what are worth knowing, what are worth adapting, and if it is worth adapting, then it is worth taking shelter, or it is just worth manifesting, and what is worth renouncing. Okay, because this is the whole discussion is about influx. So whether it is auspicious or inauspicious, how can be it can be worth accepting or worth adapting. Okay, so that discussion will come to the end. First, the Tirthankar. So the first question was, it is necessary that all 16 uh, causal contemplations be present for the bondage of Tirthankar Nam Karma. So the answer is the bondage of Tirthankar Nam Karma occurs and continues to occur. It's such a binding prakriti that it continues, it is being said that this prakriti, they bind in previous birth or 3 births prior to that. Okay, so either they become a Tirthankar in the next birth or in the next 3rd birth, like that. Okay, so it is a continuously binding prakriti from the 4th stage of spiritual development up to the 6th subdivision of the 8th gunasthan. Now, I think I read somewhere from the 4th to 7th also. So, I'm not very sure about what is the 6th subdivision of the 8th gunasthan. So that I have to clarify. But anyways, it is from 4th. It starts from 4th. So, the first condition would be he should be a right believer. The second is presence of omniscient. And the third is that feeling of spiritual welfare for all the people of this universe. Okay. So with these 3, you obviously bind such kind of auspicious karma, which will lead you to become a Tirthankar in the either the next birth or in 3 births after that. Maximum is 3 birth. Okay. Okay, because these 16 causal contemplations operate in both the householder and ascetics. So both householder also may celebrates this festival of Solakaran Bhavana, and the ascetics also. The purified transformations, okay, Vishuddha Parinam, that occur in both states have been encompassed within them. I think this and the Das Lakshan Dharma go parallel. Sola Karan Bhavana, I think they do it for 32 days, 16 and again repetition of 16. So it goes on for 32 days, and in between there is a Das Lakshan Dharma also for 10 days. Okay. So this happens 3 times a year. Okay. Okay. In fact, the bondage of Tirthankar Prakriti begins with purity of belief. Purity of belief. Darshan Vishuddhi. Accompanied by the most intense affection for fellow spiritual aspirants. So what Himali did, he changed this word everywhere. So it automatically got changed. Okay. So all those others, you have to change it physically, but she has done on the PDF only. So that's why everywhere she was reading fellow spiritual aspirants. This is also okay, no problem. Sadharmik Vatsalya. Deep commitment to scriptural study, Swadhyay, and the highest inspiration for the propagation of religion. So who can do this propagation of religion? The one who has first manifested in his life, they can only do the propagation. Okay. So a right believer is only a person who will be able to propagate the religion. Okay. So we never have to plan separately for propagation of religion. What we should strive for is to do our own spiritual upliftment. If we get spiritually uplifted, automatically the propagation of Jain Dharma will happen. Okay. So it is this way. In Hindi, we call it as, Bade Pandit ji has sent a statement, आराधक ही प्रभावक होता है. So we should always plan for aradhana and never plan for prabhavna. Okay. So that is the conclusion. In the heart of such a right believing soul, Samyak Drashti Jeev, an extremely intense disposition arises, namely that the supreme truth which has become clear to me should be attained by all fellow spiritual aspirants, and that the Bhagwan Atma should become the object of knowledge for the masses. Now this for the masses is only Tirthakar can do, you know.
Hitopdesha.
Yes. So from such a disposition, the bondage of Tirthankar Prakriti begins. Owing to the absence of linguistic knowledge and the weakness of ordinary speech, such a soul experiences difficulty in conveying his message, the message of the Atma to the masses. Yet his inner disposition is exceedingly powerful. Okay. As a result, he attains such a divine speech, Divya Dhvani, that it is comprehended in 18 major languages and 700 minor languages with no obstruction of any kind, and all understands in their own language, you know. So in a Samosaran, the holy assembly, when a Tirthankar is preaching through Divya Dhvani, it is comprehended in 18 major languages and 700 minor languages, and each one who is present there in the Samosaran understand in his own language. Okay, because the Tirthankar Dhvani is not a simple speech. It emanates from the whole body and not from the mouth. It is not coming out from the mouth, and it is coming out without any desire. Just for the people who are aspirants, for them this Tirthankar's Divya Dhvani comes out automatically without any desire. So the Tirthankars has never any desire because they have attained the 13th stage. Okay. All desires are gone in the 12th stage itself. Okay. So 13th stage there is no desire, but it happens automatically. In the Samosarana of Mahavir Swami, for 66 days, there was no preachings of Divya Dhvani, divine sound, no divine sound. Then suddenly Indra got this in his mind that there is no Ganadhar. So he went and called the Ganadhar, and that's how the Mahavir's Divya Dhvani started after 66 days. Okay. So if you look at the independent system that is operating across the universe, you will be feeling so relaxed that there is nothing on our head to do any task. It's all happening automatically on its own. We are not the doer. Okay. And once you become a non-doer, itself is relaxing. No tension. Depression, tension, stress is only when you become a doer. So the moment you cease to be a doer, no tension, no depression, no stress, nothing. Only blissful life. Okay. Owing to the absence of linguistic knowledge and the weakness of ordinary speech, such a soul experiences difficulty in conveying his message, the message of the Atma to the masses. Yet his inner disposition is exceedingly powerful. Intent is exceedingly powerful. As a result, he attains such a divine speech that it is comprehended in 18 major languages and 700 minor languages with no obstruction of any kind. Okay. All these indeed constitute the function of Tirthankar Prakriti. Then Kailash Chandji also quoted about that. One more quotation that I want to highlight is Acharya Samanbhadra's Ratnakaran Sakachar. This is a very good line. Deshyami samichinnam dharma karma Nivarhanam. I proclaim that true dharma. It's written only dharma, but samichinam means true dharma. True dharma means in those days there were Vadi and Prativadi. Prativadi was a counter debater, and Vadi is the one who presents his viewpoint first. Okay, and then the other debater contradicts it. Then again he puts forth his argument, and this way the discussion goes on. And at the end, one of them accepts defeat. Okay, people were so honest at that point of time that if they used to understand it logically, and if the other one is saying the truth, then they used to accept the religion of that other fellow. So Samantabhadra was very famous for this debating. He has a special skill of debating, and that's how he did the propagation of Jainism in those days, by defeating the debaters of other faiths. Many Bauds got converted into Jainism. And so Samantabhadra is also credited to be Kalikal Sarvagna. Okay, Kalikal Sarvagna, because at that point of time also the Jainism was on the brink of extinction, and he again with his arguments and all, he defeated many other faiths debaters, and they were forced to accept Jainism. So that's how the Jainism started spreading. Okay, so whatever he says is true. Okay, it is never debated by people of other faiths, and also it is never debated by the direct uh, direct knowledge and the indirect knowledge, such as inference and all that we discussed in the Tattvat Sutra's first chapter. Okay, it is never contradicted. So I proclaim that true dharma which brings about the cessation of karmas. So the purpose is to stop the bondage of karma and not create the bondage. Okay, so all this discussion you should understand in this light, and that is what the question 5 was about. You yourself may consider, if those who possesses such inclination and activities were to have influx of Tirthankar Prakriti, how many Tirthankars would there then be? So there could only be 24. So there would only be 24 such people who will bind such Prakritis. Moreover, there is also the condition of being in the feet of a Kevli or a Shrut Kevli. What are the conditions for a Shrut Kevli? One is right belief, and the other is complete knowledge of Dwat Sang. Okay, so some of the Lokantik Dev, they are also having this Dwat Sang knowledge. So they are also referred to as Shrut Kevli. Okay, so Kevli and Shrut Kevli, how many people have access to that? Oh brother, the discussion of the causes of influx is meant to create detachment and from those disposition, not attachment to them. So don't get attracted to this Tirthankar Nam Karma Prakriti, because it is also a cause of bondage. You have to detach from it. Okay, so this was all that we have to discuss on this, and I hope we are good with this. The time is also over. So if you have any questions, we can take up. Otherwise, this is your homework for CC2. Okay, this and the 8 extra pages that I shared in the group, that is from the English book. So you have to refer this and that, our textbook, and these 8 pages, and write causes of the bondage of each karma, each of the 8 karmas. Okay, so this will be a very good study from the Charnanyug perspective, and Dravyanyug perspective already it's mentioned here, so we know. But Charnanyug is very, very interesting, and your life will only improve if you are able to practice all these. Okay, so very good topic from Tattvat Sutra 6th chapter. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, I have a question, sir.
Yeah, ask.
Who was the Tirthankar during Ramji's name?
Ramji
Lakshman.
was Muni Suratnath.
Okay.
Muni Suratnath Tirthankar.
Okay.
19th, no, 19th or 16th, 17th, 18th.
Muni
19th, no,
Surat.
I think 19th, I think.
20th, sir. 20th, sir.
20th, okay, 20th. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank
So
you.
Ramchandra
So
had a very long life.
Hmm.
Yeah, Soumya?
yes, sir. One doubt was about the definition of Shrut Kevli that you gave, sir.
Hmm, hmm.
Sir, in my understanding, sir, it is a necessary condition that a Shrut Kevli has to be a monk first. Then only he can be called Shrut Kevli.
No,
Because
no. Because Lokantik Dev, they are not monks.
yes, sir, and therefore they cannot be called Shrut Kevli, I think, sir.
No, I'm very sure about this. This is written in Samaisar Anushilan by Dr. Bharil ji. I will share the pages. Okay, you can
Okay.
refer that. Because in the beginning of the Samaisar verses, there is talk of Srut Kevli. That I will propagate that religion which has been, I have come from the lineage of Kevli and Srut Kevli. Okay. So that I will share the pages. You can have clarity about your doubt. I am saying from that Dr. Bharilji's reference, from where he got that reference, that I am not aware. Okay. But he is a standard scholar, he has studied deeply. So I think he will not be wrong in such interpretations. But anyway,
Yes.
you can also check with your father also. He might throw more light on this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yeah.
Sir, I wanted to ask you, it says special causes for influx of Darshana Varnya Karma. It says sleeping during daytime.
Yes.
Sir, can you explain that?
So what is to explain there? It's a cause you have to avoid. The idea is that when you sleep during daytime, okay, night time is okay, but during daytime, so once you become lousy, means procrastination sets in, and the other thing is that daytime is the time, there in those times there were no electricity. Okay. So whatever you have to study during daytime only, right? So if during the time of study, if you sleep, then what will happen? So both are the causes of Darshana Varniya Karma.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, sir, when they say excessive sleep, have they said that how much should you sleep? Like 4 hours, 5 hours,
So
daily?
in the night,
Yeah, its third point says excessive sleep.
excessive sleep during the day is so
Like
it's
during the
avoidable.
night. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
During night, in those days, people used to sleep early, around 8, 9, so they automatically used to get up by 4 o'clock. It's
4.
called the Brahma Murat. So
Correct.
if you study in those time, 4 o'clock, post 4, yeah, the study were very intense. You can go very deep. Your mind is fresh. And those days, life was very simple.
Yeah.
Not this scrolling and mobile and internet. This is a different kind of life that we are living, which is not conducive to this kind of understanding. But anyways, we are all doing it, and simultaneously we are studying also. So this is something very exceptional. Okay. Anything else? So we are good. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना